I want you to imagine you're 70 years old, you've just retired, you're walking into the kitchen, your wife's throwing you a party, it's a celebration. What does that actually look like for the average American, and what might it look like for you? We've generated over $15 million in value across 5 deals just in the last 3 weeks in the deal room. I'm gonna break down those deals, what each individual made off of them, and what they're turning that into. Tune in. This is a wake-up call. Hey, I want you to go down the road with me. Go into the future, take a stroll down future lane. You're 70 years old, and today is the day that you retire. You hang it up, you walk into the house, your wife's throwing a little party for you, all your friends are there, she's got you a little cake. Congratulations on 40 years of service. You're done. You're the average American and you are retired. Congratulations. Now you can hit the golf course. Now you can go on that vacation to Hawaii. You can go visit your kids, your grandkids. You can go out to eat, join the country club, on and on and on. You made it. Well, if we're talking about the average American here, the average has $600,000 in their 401k or IRA. They're going to be able to draw about 6.7% off of that, which is going to give them about $3,350 per month, right around 40 grand year annual salary. Now, yes, you may have a little bit more from Social Security, but I don't know about you, but in 20 years, that doesn't seem like a whole lot. You know, I mean, even today, 40 grand, I know I'm not going out to eat, not even going out to eat, much less going to Hawaii. I'm not taking my wife to Europe. I'm not remodeling the kitchen. I'm kind of eating beans and rice. And I'm doing the stuff that's free. I'm going to, free bingo night at the senior hall. That is something that if we don't think ahead, plan ahead, and really count the cost of what it's going to take, that's the situation that the average American is finding themselves in right now. This is not doom and gloom. There are people that are far worse off, and there's definitely people that are better off than that, but that's where the middle of the pack of Americans, one of the richest countries in the world, are finding themselves. So if you're on that path, right, think about that. Your friends say, hey, dude, we're going down to Florida for a week. You want to come with us? Money's a little tight right now. Hey, I want you to come to Disney World with the kids and the grandkids so we can, Disney's like $500 a ticket now. I really can't afford that. Okay, Dad, we'll see you next time. You're sitting there and you played the game. You put in your time. You worked for the man for 30 years, 40 years. You saved dutifully. You put 2, 3, 4% into your 401k. You thought you had it made. You thought you were planning ahead. You thought you were ready for the future. But the cold reality is that you're not. And so what do? Well, maybe you go to the grocery store and you pick up a clerking job. Maybe you start driving Uber to pick up extra dollars so that you have enough to take your wife out to eat or buy her a Christmas present. I'm not trying to be the doomsday prophet, but this is where at least half or more of Americans are finding themselves. So if you're looking at the situation you're in, let's say you're making $80,000 a year, $100,000 a year, even $200,000 a year. If you're spending $80,000, $100,000, $200,000 a year to subsist, and you're not, investing large portions into the stock market, into your 401k, into real estate, whatever, you're probably going to find yourself in the average middle of the pack. And this is exactly what your reality will look like in 20 years. About 7 years ago, I woke up and I started running and listening to Audible. And the book I was listening to was by Grant Cardone. It's called The 10X Rule. You probably heard of Grant Cardone, love him or hate him. This book really helped me face facts. He said, you're going to need more than you think. It's going to be harder than you think. It's going to take longer than you think. Go down the road, do the math. And I looked at, okay, I've got my construction company. I'm making about this. I've been able to buy these 2 rental homes and these couple trailers. I have no money in savings really. I don't have any money in the stock market. I haven't really been investing. And I'm 35, am I ready? Am I prepared? And it was like a bucket of cold water listening to this book, realizing, dude, you are not ready. You are going to have to be a contractor until you die. You are going to have to grind your body into the dirt to scrape out a living, because everything you're making, you're spending. Your family's growing. You got more kids. They're going to need weddings and college and everything else. Your wife needs a bigger house. Cars are going to break. Roofs are going to leak. Air conditioners are going to go out of commission. You're not ready. You need a surplus. You need a bankroll. You need a huge, way huger nest egg than I was thinking at the time. And if you're in your 30s and 40s, this is probably starting to dawn on you as well. Maybe you're like me. And I'm looking at, well, how do I work harder? How do I make more money? And to me, I looked at my balance sheet, and between my house and the rental homes and the trailers, that was where the majority of my net worth was. And I thought, what if I just focus on that? What if I blow that up? What if I really, really expand that? And eventually I could just do that full time. I wonder what that would look like, because that's really the only thing that's building my balance sheet. I saw that I had bought a rental home for $100,000, 5-6 years prior, and it was worth $200,000 now, $250,000. And I thought, man, what if I could do that with bigger deals? What if I could do that with more deals? How do I make that happen? And that was a real catalyst for me to wake up, be like, I don't want to be 70 years old living hand to mouth. I don't want to be 75 and telling my wife she can't get a car even though her car's 15 years old and it's falling apart. I don't want to not be able to go see my kids in Florida. I don't want to be able to not take my wife over to Europe if she wants to go see, London or Paris or whatever. I want to be able to make those decisions and do those things that I want to do. I want to be able to give. What if my church is doing a building campaign and they need X amount of dollars and I can chip in 10 grand, 15 grand? Wouldn't that be nice? What if I see somebody in need? Maybe my kid needs help with a down payment on their house and I could give them $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to help them get their first house. Wouldn't that be cool? Well, none of those things were in the cards unless I dramatically shifted the trajectory that I was on. I want to go through 5 case studies. These are deals that have come out of the deal room just in the last 2 to 3 weeks. They're either under contract or they've already gone full cycle or they're going full cycle in the next week to 2 weeks. 24 unit deal room guy is selling at a $313,000 profit. It is closing February 14th. Today is the 12th. So 2 more days, that deal is closing, money in the bank. There's a foreclosure pickup where the guy's going to turn it into an Airbnb and a short-term rental. It's going to generate about $100,000 a year in income beyond the taxes, insurance, and mortgage. There's another guy who picked up a 40-unit apartment complex, got it under contract for a phenomenal price, direct to seller, off market. He is selling it to another group, same day closing, double closing for an $800,000 profit. Another girl in the deal room picked up a foreclosure that is going on the chopping block March 4th, which is about 3 weeks from now. And she's able to get that, pay off their mortgage, put some cash in their pocket, and immediately flip it for about an $85,000 profit. Jack picked up a 7-unit multifamily on the beach for $1.1 million. He's got another group that he's putting it under contract with at a sale price of 1.6. So within 90 days, he's picking up a $500K windfall there. So great, cool. I'd love to get a couple $100,000, but what does that mean? All of these people are in their 30s and 40s. Let's take that out 20 years at 10%. That's the average the stock market's return over the last 50 years is about 10%. You take a $313K profit off that 24 unit. That turns into $2.2 million. You take the $100,000 a year income off of the Airbnb short-term rental. Over 20 years, that turns into $4.38 million at investing $100,000 a year. $800,000 pickup off of Sam without putting any more money in, just plunking it into the stock market at 10%, grows to $5.86 million. The $85,000 foreclosure flip turns into $622K. And the $500,000 seven unit jumps up to $3.66 million. You add these up, this is over $15 million worth of value created. Let's pick out an average. Let's say the 3.66 million. 3.66 million times about 6.72%. That's about $242,000 in income per year, every year, and it's still growing because the stock market's hopefully generating 10%. So it's still growing by 2 or 3% a year to keep up with inflation. It's kicking off $240,000 a year from doing one deal, one time, 20 years ago. Flipping it, selling it, the deal's long gone and forgotten, but the effect of that remains. And guess what? That's not the only deal he's doing, because he's learning a skill that no one can take away from him. And I don't want to get you down, but I want you to think forward. If you're on a path that is not going to get you where you want to go, what are you going to do about it? What can you do about it? Yes, this stuff is hard. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it takes persistence. But these 5 people have unlocked their life to the tune of millions of dollars down the road so that they can go see their kids, so that they can go on the vacation, so that they can buy their wife the car, so that they can give to their church. They're changing the trajectory of their future because they simply said, hey, where I'm going now is not where I want to be. I don't want to be 70, 75 years old and I still got to go drive Uber. I still got to go work at the grocery store as a clerk. I still got to make an extra couple $1,000s a month because I need it to keep the lights on, to pay my food bill. That's not a situation that any of us want to be in. And to succeed, you need to be in the top 10%, or at least the top 10%. And it's not that hard to do it if you can do it differently than everybody else. Everyone, get a real job, stick with this, invest your 2-3% in the stock market. And I'm not against that. But do the math. Write it down. Are you going to get there? Are you going to have enough? Are you going to be where you want to be? Or are you going to wake up and it's going to be too late? So if this is something that intrigues you, if you want to learn how to do these things and connect with these people, because these 5 deals would not have happened had they not known how to capitalize on this opportunity and had they not been looking for it. But because they're surrounded with the right people who have capital, who have the ability to get loans, who can connect them with people that can buy this stuff, that can make deals happen, and they know what to look for, they were able to uncover gems that others were overlooking. I know for a fact at least 3 of these deals never would have happened had these people not been plugged in to a community of real estate pros that were doing this day in and day out. So if you're like Jennings, I know I need to change the path I'm on. Like, I'm doing fine, I'm making it, but without me grinding it out 50, 60 hours a week, this thing doesn't work. And it's not going to get better in 20 years. Where do I start? What do I do? How do I find these deals? How do I talk to sellers? How do I build relationships with brokers? How do I get investors to come alongside my ideas and invest with me? And I can make them money and they can help me make money. How do I change my life so that when I'm 70, I'm like, wow, look at what I did when I was 35, 45, 50 years old. Look at the dividends that it paid me. I'm so glad I figured this game out. I'm so glad I got on this track. I'm 42 now, been doing this, for 13 years and commercial real estate for 7. And if I was still going to work every day, working out 50, 60 hours a week to just make a living and not getting ahead, I don't even know what the trepidation would be at this point, because it only gets louder and stronger the older that you get and the further that you go along. So if this is you and you want to talk with me, you want to learn more about how to do this, you're intrigued, go to mfmim.com and learn about the deal room. See what's there, see what's to offer, so that you can change that trajectory, you can change that path. If you want to come to my conference, it's March 6th, 7th, and 8th. It's coming up right around the corner, 3-4 weeks from now. I'd love to see you there. I'd love to connect with you. What do you got going on? Where are you trying to go? Who do you need to meet? How can you bring value? And how can you unlock your life and move in a direction where you can be proud of where you went? You can tell, your kids and your wife, hey, we're on the plane. We'll be there tomorrow. We can drop what we're doing because we're not doing anything. We can give to that mission. We can help. We can go to Europe. We can go out to eat. What are you going to be faced with in 20 years? Because what that is, it starts today. Start making the changes, and long term that will compound, and it can grow into something. It's grown into something that I never thought was possible. I'm leveling up my goals now. I'm leveling up where I thought I could be. And that's where I want you to be too. So here's the hand reaching down, grab it, go to mfmim.com. Or if you want to look at the conference, go to dealroomlive.com. And because you're a podcast listener, I want you to use this coupon code. It's DEALROOM, all capital letters, DEALROOM. It'll knock $100 off of your conference ticket price. I'd love to see you there and connect with you. All right, guys, that's what I got for you this week. Talk soon. Peace.